website built by a death cult is still answering emails nearly 30 years later. Mysterious radio stations are broadcasting coded messages that nobody officially admits to operating. And somewhere out there, a webcam from 1994 is still quietly uploading photos every 20 seconds. I got a perfect jacket for the occasion. These are abandoned websites that are still broadcasting. This is kind of strange to think about today, but back in the 90s, it was common for websites to be made entirely to promote a single movie. Most of those movie sites would be deleted the second the VHS hit the shelves, but for some reason, Space Jam's website is still sitting there. An odd little time capsule of 1996 internet marketing. It's gaudy as hell, and it's great. I mean, forget the sleek, minimalist, aka boring websites of today. At spacejam.com, you're met with this starry background that kind of makes your eyes hurt. There's bright neon text and then red text on a black background. Again, kind of hard on the eyes. There's a section called Junior Jam with coloring pages you were supposed to print out, and a behind the scenes area featuring low resolution images that probably would have taken like 5 minutes each to load back then. My favorite part has to be a section called Basketball Tips and Terms, which is just a list of basketball tips and terms against this green background with stars. It is delightfully janky. It's a fun little site to check out. It takes you back to a very different kind of internet where websites felt more personal. Mostly just a collection of people trying to figure out how everything worked. Sticking with the space theme, this next website is even crazier looking than Space Jam. It's also crazier in concept. Rather than promoting a fun movie about classic cartoon characters playing basketball against aliens, this website was promoting a death cult, also involving aliens, oddly enough. The Heaven's Gate website is arguably the most infamous ghost site on the internet. In March 1997, 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult took their own lives in a San Diego mansion, believing they would shed their earthly containers and board a spacecraft where they would meet an alien race while reaching a higher plane of existence. So all that's left of the cult now is this website, which looks exactly as it did the day it went live. It has that same garish design with multicolored text and flashing GIFs. Color theory is nowhere to be found here, and it's the original server. It's been maintained for nearly 3 decades by 2 surviving members of the group, Mark and Sarah King. They stayed behind specifically to ensure the group's teachings would be accessible to the public. Supposedly, they actually respond to emails sent to the site's contact address, usually within 24 hours. The layout is a masterclass in early web clunkiness, but with the added context, it's a heavier experience clicking through it. Unlike Space Jam, which feels nostalgic and fun, this is the reverse. If you want to understand just how much the O.J. Simpson trial gripped the world, you don't need a history book, you just need to look at this surviving corner of CNN's website. In the mid-90s, this was the digital headquarters for the trial of the century. While most news sites from 30 years ago are long gone, CNN has kept this one live as a functional archive of sorts. Visually, it's a trip. It looks like a cross between a DVD menu and one of those old school point-and-click PC games with like really silly looking JPEGs and this narrow layout designed for monitors that were basically heavy glass cubes. And this isn't just a single landing page, it's a massive database where almost all the links still work. You can click through and find full court transcripts, grainy evidence photos, detailed bios of everyone involved. It even has sections for the DNA evidence, which back then was such a new and confusing concept for the public that the site had to explain it in very simple terms. It's a bit surreal to browse because so much of it is written like this stuff just happened the other day. It's so steeped in that time. You're not reading a more recent view of the events with years of reflection and context to consider. The site is a real historical document. It's just online rather than in an old dusty newspaper. Here's a weird one. Internet Explorer is evil. Not a statement I'm making. That's the name of the website. Although many would say if you were unlucky enough to rely on Internet Explorer back in the day, you might agree with that statement. The website was made by a guy named Nathan Lineback, who just really hated Internet Explorer and decided to let the world know why. Or I guess the World Wide Web. The site is full of these long rants about everything wrong with the platform. While clicking through the site though, which is a pretty hyper-focused conquest against Internet Explorer, I also found this section called My Doom Levels, full of zip files that you could still download with customs and add-ons for the original Doom game. There's also a section simply called My Opinions, where Nathan Nathan shares his opinions on a variety of topics, from smartphones to LED lights. This section of the site seems to actually get updated from time to time because he shares his thoughts on the 2020 pandemic. Honestly, it's kind of a fun site. I may have to go down the rabbit hole with this one. Before the internet existed, governments needed secret ways to communicate with spies operating in other countries. One of the strangest methods they came up with was something called a numbers station. These are mysterious radio stations that broadcast coded messages over shortwave radio, usually in the form of robotic voices reading strings of numbers. Broadcasts might sound like a woman calmly saying 7, 14, 22, 91, yada yada, over static for minutes at a time. Sometimes it's also Morse code, strange tones, or there'll be creepy little songs that play before the message starts. Weird part is, nobody officially admits to running most of these stations, but many of them are still active today, and that's where Priyom comes in. Priyom is a website dedicated to tracking and archiving number stations from around the world. The site's been around for a long time. Again, it's got that clunky, dated aesthetic. Looking at it, you'd think the site was dead, but it's actually constantly updated by radio enthusiasts who monitor live transmissions as they happen. People upload recordings, log frequencies, and document bizarre broadcasts coming from all around the world. This next one is super obscure. It's another website from the 90s made to promote a kids' TV show called Space Cases. If you're not familiar with that show, I'm not surprised. This was a live-action Canadian science fiction series that ran from 1996 to 97. There's only 3 when it came out, but I have vague memories of it when it first aired, and more vivid ones from reruns. It's a weird show. Nobody ever talks about it, but it had a rather big name at the time. Walter Emmanuel Jones played the Black Ranger in Power Rangers, and you could still visit the website of this obscure, shortly lived television show today. It is an eyesore, to say the least. Once again, it's space themed, so they have to have stars filling up the whole webpage, this time overlaid with bright yellow Times New Roman font. On this site, you can find plot summaries for the episodes, tiny low-res behind-the-scenes photos. It also has the lyrics to the theme song, which I'm sure you all want me to recite, so here goes. Once upon a time in a school in outer space, there was a class of misfit kids from all around the place. They snuck aboard a mystery ship which soon slipped through a spatial rip, and now they're stuck on a long, strange trip. Harlan Ban leaps before he looks. Commander Goddard does not go by the books. Radu tries to get along. Thelma functions mostly wrong. Bova's cloudy. Rosie's sunny. Davenport is not too funny. Catalina's best friend Susie isn't there. They're space cases. I love how this theme song is basically just a series of not so subtle digs at our entire main cast. Davenport, not funny. Thelma doesn't function right. And apparently, Catalina has a best friend who isn't actually there. Damn. Once again, it's a little time capsule of another era, and I have no idea how the site is still up. Fingers crossed, though, it's never taken down. Now, you wouldn't think so, but the website you're looking at right now is still live. It actually features the world's longest-running webcam. FogCam.org launched on September 30th, 1994, San Francisco State University, created by 2 students, Jeff Schwartz and Dan Wong, as a small campus experiment. The idea was simply to point a camera at the university grounds and update a single image every few seconds so people online could see real-time life on campus. The site still runs on extremely basic HTML, and the camera still captures low-resolution snapshots of the same campus environment that it's been watching for decades. Every 20 seconds, a new image is uploaded, and the old one is replaced. This crazy wall of text you're looking at here sits on an old website called timecube.net, created in 1997 by a man named Otis Eugene Ray. Timecube was basically one massive page built around a single idea he called the time cube, and that idea is hard to summarize in a top 10 style video like this. At its core, though, Gene Ray believed that modern science and education were completely wrong about how time works. According to him, a single day isn't actually one day. It's 4 separate days happening at the same time: sunrise, midday, sunset, and midnight, all rotating simultaneously around Earth like corners of a cube. He argued this wasn't philosophy, it wasn't just his opinion, but absolute mathematical truth. The website, it's not your traditional kind of site. There are no sections or navigation. It's just this wall of aggressive text with flashing colors and huge fonts. It constantly claims that universities are wrong, scientists are just ignorant, and that he alone has discovered the, quote, true structure of time. Gene Ray also repeatedly challenged academics to prove him wrong, even offering cash rewards to anyone who would disprove up his theory. Ray passed away in 2015, and the original domain eventually expired, but archived versions of the site still exist online. Berkshires UFO is a site dedicated entirely to a mass UFO sighting that supposedly happened in Berkshire County, Massachusetts on September 1st, 1969. According to witnesses, strange glowing objects appeared across the sky, and multiple people claimed they experienced missing time that night. The site's been around for a long time, but this one has been updated. Even still, it feels a bit dated. One section contains personal stories from people who say they saw the objects as children and still remember it vividly today. Another has audio interviews and archived newspaper reports from the time. Whether you believe the UFO story or not, the website itself feels weirdly eerie. It's so sincere. There's no flashy branding, no modern conspiracy influencer vibe to it. It's literally just this old digital archive preserving one very specific mystery. The event actually became famous again after it was featured on Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries reboot, so that brought a whole flood of new attention to the site. And what you're looking at here is a website called Zombo.com. What's the purpose of the site? Well, it launched in 1999 as a parody of early Flash websites, back when a lot of sites would load a flashy intro animation before actually showing any content. I mean, younger people watching this video have no idea what I'm referring to. Yes, that actually was a thing on some websites, and Zombo.com is just the intro page. Never actually delivers anything beyond that intro. The site's since been redesigned, but for years when you opened it, you'd be greeted with this looping animation of spinning, glowing circles and a voice calmly welcoming you to Zombo.com. The voice keeps repeating variations of the same message, that you can do anything at Zombo.com, anything at all. It sounds like it's building towards something. Some sort of menu is about to pop up, maybe a game, but never does. That's the entire joke. It's, early absurdist internet humor. People would link their friends or coworkers to the site to try and confuse them, and if they weren't aware of the rumors about the website, it would almost always work. That's been our video for today. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.